Going pretty good, buddy. How are you doing? Glad to see you. We're going to be talking about some gaming news coming up. That was from, I noticed in one of Leonard's videos where because he organizes all the, gaming top 20 music playlists. And he went back and he like removed all the other ones that people had and just kept his own. So I was just putting on some of this fun stuff. I'm on this is a sewer one. Town Overworld and Sewer. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Boom, boom. Limbo of the Lost Baby Kicks. Oh, I can put that one back on. Just turn that off. How you doing, buddy boy? You're doing good. Okay, I gotcha. Alright, let's put back on your Limbo of the Lost. Limbo of the Lost. Oh yeah, you're into getting a PSVR. I feel like I am too. Especially with Star Wars Squadrons, although now I've almost beaten Star Wars Squadrons. I'm on the end tail of it. The last mission is quite hard. A pretty freaky theme. Too freaky. Yeah, it's better.
Feeling good? Are you feeling?
I think I've made that mistake before. Trying to look for some chill music, and it's a guy's sort of like talk show, I guess. Can't have a talk show playing while I'm trying to do a talk show. Boom, 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 boom. All right. You really do. Catch and release. The game is just you on a lake, you fish, you buy new bait, listening to the radio. Let me ask you a question. Can you fish where you're from? You might be into fishing. I love games with radio. There's a lot of games I want to play that are something I can listen to a podcast and play. Do not have to focus on a big story. I think a lot of game stories are just not great. What was I going to look up? Fuck. Oh. It's amazing how distracted you can get on a computer. I mean, anywhere you can get distracted, but it seems like especially so with computer stuff. Because you're just looking at thousands of possible things to be distracted by, right? All right, let's dump this into the Discord. Things to be distracted. And get ready to go. It feels like even when I do an upload test and it tells me that I've got a full 10 megabits of upload, which would be fine, and I want to upload something at 3 or 4, which is quite low. They recommend you should be able to upload stream at about 80% of your upload. So I'm trying to stream at 30% of it, and it'll be fine, but it's the drops. So it's just too frustrating to try to game and constantly be looking at it. So just figured, let's just do a little chatting, which is the part I enjoy about streaming anyway, actually. Just talking with people. I can always play games on my own time and upload them as well. Okay. I'm just telling Horky. Gonna be trying. Muchachos. Inky boy! How you doing, buddy? Oh my god, I bet you this game has awesome music. The game I'm gonna put on. Let's give it a listen. That's nice. Welcome to GameThinkTalk, hosted by me, Matthew, joined by Prince, Ink of the Dragon, and Anno 1800. Lily can hum it note for note. And she likes it. Lily Billy. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, buddy boys. Starting momentarily. Starting now. Let's pick a nice color for this. I like this bisexual purples. One of my favorite colors. Oh, God! It looks terrible with the outline. Oh, it's invisible without it! Fine, we'll just go with white. And an outline, I guess. Ah! Packed her things. Packed her things. Thanks, buddy boy. This music's freaking me out. What about just like... Are there no chill music in this game? What would be like, just doing your... I thought that this is like a strategy builder. Where's the chill building music? That's what I want. Chill music, Anno 1800. Hush. Is it Hush, maybe? Hush sounds chill to me. Don't make me put on Deus Ex. I will. I gotta play this game. I gotta play Anno. It's a good one. Wonderful. So wonderful. Great. Great, great, great. Great, 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 great. Great. It's so great to be great when you're great, when you're feeling great. Great, great. Oh, really? I gotta play it. I gotta play it. This music's a bit cheesy, though. For some ambience. It's a bit cheesy. It'll be good, always on sale? That's nice. All right, so one of the news things I saw was that Demon Souls, they've had to announce, is not going to have ray tracing. Not really a big deal when you look at how good it looks. It doesn't look like it needs ray tracing. I think the only reason they needed to even say that they don't have ray tracing is that at one point they said they were going to. And I think, I mean, I'm not a big PC Master Race gamer, so ray tracing hasn't been on my mind. I've been looking at some pictures of like what ray tracing can do, and basically I think what it boils down to is that ray tracing, this is my total simpleton way of trying to figure this out, is that ray tracing is sort of what you can do real-time dynamically. So I saw a good example video on Reddit, where I spend most of my time lately, of somebody swinging past a big skyscraper of windows, and when you turn the ray tracing on, every single individual window, hundreds of them, thousands of them, can all independently have dynamic reflections and lighting. So I think that's supposed to be, that's the main thing. And it does a few other things, but all of it is sort of dynamic. And I saw some people arguing about it, and they were saying, well, games like The Last of Us 2 didn't have ray tracing and they look great. But the thing is, because those games are so linear, for the most part, they do have open world sections. You're able to sort of pre-plan how they're going to look, and you can make them look a lot better. You can make them look like they would have ray tracing. So for a game like Demon's Souls, trying not to hard S, my S's. That's a game where you know, mostly is open, right? So I guess people are maybe disappointed that a big showcase on the PS5 isn't going to have, isn't going to have the really, really impressive look. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I don't think that Demon's Souls would benefit from a lot of like crazy reflections, but I mean, it looks really good. So does it really, really matter? I guess it's just one more thing we're going to be looking forward to. Like, when you look into the next generation, 4K everywhere, HDR, and I guess more ray tracing. So, I don't know. Do you guys care? Does anybody care? But I know, Prince, you're really excited for Demon's Souls. Now, when you talk about the PS5 and its launch, when they first talked about all of these launch games for the PS5, and they were showing a lot more of these sci-fi games, where I thought, that's not usually the kind of games that have been coming out. I thought that sci-fi was kind of dead in this age of, not dead, but dying, and relegated to more like niche and more of a cult thing. And when you have I played an actual game with ray tracing, not a demo video? I don't think so, unless there's anything on PS4 that would have it. So probably not. Have you? I guess you have, because you've been doing a lot of the what do you call it? You're using the like cloud gaming, right? Ray tracing allows games to have in-game light act like light in the real world that reflects off an object. So, yeah, what I'm finding is that for the PS5, I was so bloody excited for these space games. And what I was saying, that's what I was talking about, the sci-fi games. Because in this age of media being with movies and games, it seems like people that make them they're terrified of making anything new. And it seems like making like a hardcore Star Trek show or movie that actually feels like Star Trek is going to be a niche thing. So they're going to make something that's like lots of action, lots of explosions. And you're going to see, obviously like what's happening in the movie theater where a lot of things are mostly reboots. And I just felt like last year, I would think you're not going to see another TIE Fighter type game because I guess that's too niche. You're not going to see these flying games. Now all of a sudden, we've got this like budget title of Star Wars Squadrons. It's not amazing, but it's pretty solid. The mission design is pretty good. The writing is not great. It's okay. Some of the writing is okay. It's kind of like campy and cheesy and a bit forced with some of the messages and kind of preachy with what it's trying to say. But and then I'm seeing this PS5 launch, and there's all these games where you're on some strange world, and the world's changing. Oh, the world is changing all around you, and that kind of stuff is really interesting to me, and thought it was not what I was going to get. So I was excited for the PS5. Now I'm seeing there's not really. Those have all been pushed back, and I get it. COVID. Can't they just move all game production to New Zealand? New Zealand doesn't want it. No stinky gamers coming here. No game developers. They don't clean themselves enough. They barely shower. We can't expect them to wash their hands. So now it seems like the main game to get on the PS5 at launch would be Demon's Souls. And I've played through completion Dark Souls 1. I think I beat 2. I beat 3, not the DLC. Bloodborne and Sekiro. They're not games I'm excited to play. They're games that I enjoy, because there's so much heart there and so much intent, and they're so unique, and they're wonderful. God, they're like healthy food. You really appreciate it. You're not excited to have it unless it's made even if it's made really, really well. It's sort of like, do you want this 99% cacao chocolate bar? Yeah, I guess so. I know it's better for me. But I would really like to go into that corner and eat like 4 Hershey's chocolate bars. Stuff my face with them. Anyways, no ray tracing for Demon's Souls. Now, yeah, Inky was saying, it's on GeForce now, but you're not buying it because of the caca. And Control has a ray tracing on PC, but you bet it's caca-poo-poo. On PC only, eh? Yeah, it seems like they're all the glittery fluctuating things when I played Control on PS4 Pro. It seemed like all of this is set up to show off ray tracing and different effects, and it was nice to look at, but that stuff after a while just sort of you get desensitized to it, and it's kind of always like that, thrown in your face. There's some cool, like when I think of the impressive parts of Control, it's more like the ashtray maze, or those are memorable set pieces. It's something totally different too, and having the song play during it, and I remembered it. I remember the vibe of Control quite a bit, but the story just didn't click with me. Will I try finishing Demon's Souls before the remake comes out? Yeah, right. Yeah, I see your little winky face. I couldn't get past maybe a quarter of the game, probably like an eighth of the way into it. Pretty tough. It was the game is tough. And it's harder than probably any Dark Souls, I think. They all felt like they were challenging, but totally doable. Whereas Demon's Souls, I got to a point where I couldn't even just get up a bloody staircase with all these enemies coming at me. Anyways, no ray tracing for Demon's Souls. What do you think of that? Pactor thinks Sony's going to outsell Microsoft by 5 million units a year. I'm assuming he's talking about the PS5 and the new Xbox. I would think so, because let's see. What are you saying there, Inky Boy? You remember when Battlefield 1 came out and the graphics blew you away, but gameplay was horrific, so regardless of ray tracing and graphical fidelity, at the end of the day, it's all about gameplay. So what Ink is saying how Battlefield 1 comes out, it blows you away with the graphics. The gameplay's horrific, so regardless of the ray tracing graphical fidelity, at the end of the day, it's about the gameplay. So yeah, gameplay versus graphics. I mean, I've said a lot. Some of my favorite games to look at are... I'm such a Nintendo fanboy, but I love looking at Splatoon. I love looking at Breath of the Wild. I love looking at Inside, but I mean, Inside was a lovingly crafted linear experience that took, 7 years for an indie game? What else looks great? Hollow Knight, and that's a simple game. And a lot of these games can look really great and be very, probably a lot less technically demanding than compared to, like, Red Dead. Now, when I jump into Red Dead Redemption 2 after not playing it for a while, it always blows me away when I think the amount of detail everywhere is stunningly impressive, but that does always wear off. Even, it's kind of a principle of everything. You have to have the tension and release. Things need to be difficult and then satisfying. Like the gameplay loop of the first Last of Us. Really tense experiences, and then let's relax and look at nature and walk. And everything in that game worked towards that. But with graphics, how can you really do that unless you have a variety of environments or kind of like wowing people with spectacle and then making it dark or something? I guess you could do that, but in the end, it's pretty hard to have a cohesive visual style and not have it become desensitized. So for me, it's always about the gameplay over the visuals, over the story. It's about that moment-to-moment stuff, because that is what I'm doing. So when I think about the next consoles, sure, 4K HDR, that'll be a nice jump. Ray tracing, if they have it. But what I'm actually way more excited about is the really fast solid-state drives and the ability that now you can actually make a new gameplay experience. You could have Spider-Man on the PS4 could only swing on his web as fast as they could stream in the city around him. Now, the ability to have that go super fast means, like what we're seeing with Ratchet and Clank, the ability to just hop through a portal, you're in a brand new world. All of the limitations they've been dealing with since ever. I mean, how big is this? Because when you think about, okay, when Halo came out on the Xbox One, that was the first game, I believe, the first mainstream one to sort of use streaming the data from the hard drive. So you didn't have to have load screens. And before that, you could only load as much as could fit into the RAM. So a PS1 had like 2 or 4 megabytes of RAM. So you had a 680 megabyte CD, optical disc, and you could load 4 megabytes of that at a time. That was the limitation. And I mean, like anywhere before that, I guess you could stream and stuff on like a Super Nintendo and a cartridge. All that was all instantly there, basically, which is pretty cool. So, but once you get away from the cartridges, that's what we've been dealing with for this longest time, is all about loading things in. What are you saying there, Prince? Probably eliminate fast travel in a way where it gets replaced with something you can traverse the world extremely fast with too. Yeah, I mean, fast travel can change. You know how many moments there are in a video game where you go, I'm in an alley right now, or I'm in a tunnel to get to this next area because they're loading it in, or I'm in an elevator or something where you can't really see out. And it's a way to mask a load, or it's a way to mask the streaming in. The ability to have, I mean, I remember when being really impressed by Dynasty Warriors on the PS2, because all of a sudden there were dozens and dozens and dozens of characters around you, which you just never saw before. And they all had their own AI, and you felt like you're actually in this big war. So that's impressive. And now it's about making games around that. But I feel like this new programming games to work with fast solid state drives is going to be the number one biggest advancement in gaming we've seen since the switch to CD. Really excited about it. Really, really, really excited. Sekiro, good blend, decent graphics, couple of solid gameplay. Oh yeah, baby. And it had a very unique style. You can really imagine Sekiro, and just kind of being in that world and those visuals and the way that it worked just kind of put me at ease and made me feel good, which worked because that game's very challenging. Sinking City had a great style too. Like, the whole world of Sinking City kind of felt muddy and creepy and all around you. It was great. All right, so Pactor thinks Sony's going to outsell Microsoft 5 million units a year. So we're assuming this is, I guess, for a PS5 and Xbox. I could see that. Sony has dominated Microsoft. I mean, not dominated, but they've definitely healthily outsold them because Microsoft screwed up and tried to make the Xbox One online only, and they had to undo all of that damage and all that goodwill they lost. They were doing so well with the 360. The 360 had the coolest games. It had the indie games ahead of the time. It had great compatibility with PC, where it was very easy to program for, and it was affordable, and it was just seen as gaming, you know. There's people I talk to now of a certain age that, well, you know how back in the day, they would call everything Nintendo. I mean, a lot of people call gaming Xbox because they're from the PS2, PS3 era, and Xbox is what people had. Every house I felt like had one of those white Xbox, like, arcade models, whatever, that didn't have the hard drive. Whatever one, the parents were like, okay, fine, I'll get you this. It's a couple $100. But they screwed up, and that they'll never live down that quote of, oh yeah, well, we have a console for people that don't want to be online. It's called the 360, so go use that. And they've done great work in the last couple of years. I mean, with Games Pass, with the ability to take games from like the backwards compatibility has been insane. And then not only having it be backwards compatible, but you're able to make the game look better. You're telling me the best version of Final Fantasy 13 right now is to buy yourself a used copy from the 360, which is going to cost you what, like $5, $10, and then play that on Xbox. Well, here's the tough part: Xbox One X would be it, and then have that naturally for free upgraded. Diddly diddly boop. That's fucking mind blowing. And Microsoft is just giving this out. But the problem is that Sony has built up quite a lot of goodwill, and the thing with exactly Horky, that's exactly what I was going to say. Horky, yeah, is that Microsoft, they have this weird strategy where they're putting all of their exclusives, of which there are not very many, on PC, and they're doing that play anywhere, which for some reason they think means people are going to get an Xbox and a PC so they can play their Xbox in the living room and then go to their computer room and play. That's not what people are going to do. If you have a PC, you're going to go, oh, I don't need an Xbox now. I'm going to get a PlayStation or a Switch so that I can get the most bang for my buck. I mean, if you're super rich, sure, buy them all. If you're a really hardcore gamer, some hardcore gamers buy them all. But when you're talking about how many millions of units we can sell, then it's going to come down to trying to reach the audience that is not going to buy them all. So that's their main problem. And that's why they're going to they're going to struggle to sell as much as Sony. And I think Sony's had a pretty impressive looking launch. People want to see new games, and they're pretty much neck and neck in terms of power. Like things that are going to be there's going to be some differences, of course, but they're all playing the same games for the most part in the same way. So many games are multi-platform now. Exclusivity is not what it once was before. Horky, let me know if you want to hop on the Discord, and we can. If not, don't worry about it. All right. So yeah, I would agree with that. Maybe more so, but who knows? I mean, people tend to have weird biases. There was the guy that works on my internet here. He's doing a great job. It's awful. He was telling me how he's like not really much of a gamer, but he told me that Xbox is better than PlayStation. I go, why? He's like, because when you download a game on PlayStation, it needs to be 50% bigger, the download size, to fit in. I don't know if that's actually true. That's what he was saying, but I don't know. It's so funny to talk to people, like when we go through the minutia that you or I in this chat, people that would watch a show like this or talk, the amount we know about gaming, and then when you step out of that bubble and you talk to people who are like that you see out there. I'll see them out at the game store and they're buying games and they're like buying consoles, and they're just like at random grabbing things and going, didn't you like Assassin's Creed 10 years ago? There's a new one. Go, oh my god. I'm agonizing over whether I should buy Anno 1800 when it's on sale. Blinks the Time Sweeper? This looks fun. You like your cat person. Get it. That Blinks the Time Sweeping cat. It's amazing. And then there's some things that cross over. I mean, I told the story of getting my hair cut, and a guy saw that I had an EB Games bag. And it was the day Fallout came out. And, or after. And he says, oh, is that Fallout? I heard about that. And Stella's girlfriends knowing about it, being like, my boyfriend keeps talking about it. That's a bit sexist. The crowd sounds a lot like parents trying to pick something for their kids. Yeah, but I mean, that, like, definitely that is how it would sound when parents are picking for the kids. But there are a lot of people out there that I see just buying things that I can tell is for them, just from the way they're talking. And I always remember this one guy buying something like The Witcher or whatever, and the EB salesman guy going, hey, do you want to get the deluxe edition? And the guy goes, what's that? Oh yeah, you get 3 skins in game, and you get like a loot box. The guy's like, okay, sure. And boom, $30 upsell. He went from spending $90 on a game to like $130 for some friggin' skins. Oh, you get extra ammo. Oh, if you get the deluxe edition, the game won't give you cancer, so you better get it. Anyways, that's why I think Sony will outsell Microsoft, but I think Microsoft will be doing well. I've been their backwards compatibility is such a big selling point, and now PS5 is finally on that train. See, that's why you can't make consoles be stupidly unique the way the PS3 was, because the PS3 just screwed up a whole generation of backwards compatibility, where Sony wasn't able to offer what Microsoft could. But I kind of get the feeling Sony doesn't want to. I don't think they want to put money into things that don't make them money immediately. They don't see the intrinsic value of that building your brand, where me, who didn't really care about Xbox, I see Games Pass, I see backwards compatibility, and now I always have it in my mind that would be a good thing to pick up. Maybe not brand new. I'm not going to do like $500 or $600, but I would buy, just like I bought this generation. I bought an Xbox One late, tried out a shit ton of games, and was I just like the idea of the backwards compatibility, even if I never did use it. But if I had the wherewithal to get an Xbox One, I would have loved to play Final Fantasy. They could have done it realistically, Horky, saying you've emulated PS3 games in your PC. And Prince, you find it weird when people don't do the research. I know when I think about the amount of research I do, and then I watch people just be like, okay, this one. They're privy to the full technical specifications, could have made a compatibility layer to get it to run. Well, that's the thing. So you're seeing people with a PC running PS3 games, and Sony's like, oh, it's too hard. You don't understand. And there's all these. I saw some like tech video put out where they're explaining why you can't. It's a cell processor, man. It's really hard. You could, but you don't care. Whereas Microsoft will put a shit ton of money into upscaling games when they could have just ported over a simple remaster Nintendo style. Nintendo's like, what are you doing? You could have put just 3 of them into one game and called it a remaster and sold it for the money. Milk a cat's nipples and make the money. But no, yeah, Sony's not into that. They're cost conscious. They don't have the money Microsoft has. They're not quite as stingy as Nintendo. Nintendo is like the parents that go, you want what? No, you're not getting that. No, you want Bluetooth on your portable device? No. Oh, you want to be able to voice chat on your? We'll get this one over here. They're buying the cereal off the bottom shelf. They're going to the thrift store. They're like Eddie Murphy's mom. Won't buy him a McDonald's hamburger. Makes him a hamburger. Puts onion in it. Making the big patties. The big brown patties. No hamburger bun for you. You use bread. Ray traced cat nipples. Yeah. Apparently the guy that I was watching a director's roundtable, and it was all these amazing directors: Quentin Tarantino, Ridley Scott, the guy who did Cats. But he'd also done some other movies like the Danish Girl or something. One of those. Oh man, I'm trying to beat the last mission in Star Wars Squadrons. Pretty tough. It's really cool though. When you attack capital ships, you attack them from underneath. You can attack multiple systems on the ships. They add a lot of cool sim stuff and flexibility. All right. Another Sony ding-a-ding-ding is that the PSVR is going to be backwards compatible only. So Hitman 3 is going to have PSVR, but if you have the PS5 version, no, you cannot play PSVR. You can only play, but you can play the PS4 version of Hitman 3 with PSVR on a PS5. See, gaming is already complicated. You don't need to have like Xbox One X, Series XXX, XXX. So that's kind of interesting. I guess they're just gearing up. I was wondering, like, what is the deal with PS5 and PSVR? And I guess this points to the direction that there's going to be a PSVR 2. So any PS5 games that are going to have it. So that means that the PSVR is considered a backwards compatible device that will work with only PS4 games. That's another thing where I'm sure Sony could have made that happen, and they're going, no, too much. It reminds me when Stella was, she wanted to redo the kitchen, and she was suggesting it to her dad. Her dad's like, oh, no, you don't want to do that. No. And it was because he thought he was going to have to do it all. And then when we told him, like, no, we're going to hire somebody to do it, he's like, oh, all of a sudden on board. Whoa, great. Yeah, he has lots of ideas and willing to help. Get me a measuring stick or measuring tape. You'll need an adapter for the PSVR to work on PS5, which you can get for free from Sony. Apple's like, you dummies, you could sell that for $30. Here's the thing, make it really small so it's easy to lose. Oh yeah, we're going to need a flowchart to get through the console generation. What if I want to play a game that was released on Xbox Series 1X on PSVR 2 with my PS4? Could I do that? No. There'll be columns in the newspaper. What's that bloody game? I remember a newspaper where Gin Rummy or one of those stupid games, it would be like a question every week. What do I do in this situation? Find a new game to play. So that does make me want to get a PSVR, because now I'm thinking PSVR is probably going to be devalued, and PS4s are going to be devalued. Everything attached to PS4 is going to be devalued when the PS5 comes out, I think. So to get a PS5, it's always going to be the same price for at least the first couple of years. And then I could sell my PS4, get a PSVR, and then play all those PS4 games. Because I was kind of browsing around the PSVR community, and the people are really, really excited about the games that are coming out right now for it. And the line I liked is one guy said, or girl, or in between, said that the top 10 lists are constantly flipping upside down. Where there's games that are coming out that are just completely redrawing the top 10. And I think for a while when I looked at PSVR, I go, it looks interesting, but what are the games? They look like very expensive, short experiences. But Squadrons, which is on my TV that I'm pointing to, that would have been awesome in VR. Exactly. A lot of tech demos. But I would have loved to play Squadrons, and I would maybe give that a run through again if I had it in VR. I'd like to play Resident Evil 7. The absolute killer would be if they had a Google Earth game, because I've heard that that's amazing. And if they could get a version of Microsoft's Flight Simulator, that'd be great. I mean, any of that like cockpit stuff works the best, right? So, I don't know. I mean, let's take a look. What do we got here? PSVR Games Best 2020. The PSVR games you need to play. Beat Saber looks bloody awesome. Rhythm game where you're smacking stuff. Tetris Effect looks really cool. Blood and Truth, that's sort of like a Driver-esque game. I mean, I would like to try Skyrim in VR, although Skyrim kind of... I mean, the immersive part of Skyrim, I think, works really well with VR. But then on the other hand, the... hanging out in a game... like, Skyrim's a game you kind of hang out in for a long time. So how long do you want to have these giant goggles on your head? Super hot in VR? I'd want to play that. Audica is the game you're most excited about. It's a rhythm game, yes, where you shoot targets with guns like a gunslinger while doing tricks. It's from the developers of Rock Band? Hell yeah, man. Friggin' Thumper, I would want to play in it. Rez. Oh my god, they have Rez in VR? Yeah. I'd want to bloody play that. Star Trek, I would give Star Trek Bridge Crew, except, oh man, you'd have to play with your friends, because how cringy would that be to be playing with strangers who are like, Captain, Engineering. Okay, that sounds good. Oh god, that'd be a little scary. Anyways, yeah, there's a whole bunch now, so I'm gonna keep an eye out for little PSVR. I do see them on eBay where there'll be something like, oh, it's the unit only, so you'll have to get what else? I have the camera. I know you got to get the Move controllers, and then and then there's the PSVR box. What else is there? Like cables and stuff? Oh, the headset. So there's like the box, the headset, the camera, and the Move controllers. So, PSVR. I am excited. Yeah, buddy. Ink of the Dragon, he's never happy with anything unless he can run it on his phone. He has to be able to stream it on his phone, which is basically the future. You're on the cutting edge. Man. New Mandalorian episode's out. I haven't seen it yet. I got Disney Plus to watch Mandalorian, and then I watched a bunch of Star Wars movies on there. I watched some Star Wars Rebels. Stella's not really an old Disney cartoon kind of girl, so we did watch one of these shows that was a live action show from the Disney Channel about it was like this white girl and a black girl switch places, and the white girl's South African or something. That was pretty good. That was like cheesy good. I liked it. Thank you, Prince. So, Mandalorian. The first season was pretty fantastic. After this latest trilogy and all the spin-offs kind of killing my excitement in Star Wars. I mean, I remember counting down the days until The Force Awakens came out, The Last Jedi. Even Rise of Skywalker. I think Rogue One, once I saw that, I go, oh, there might be a problem with this. The Mandalorian strips it down. It goes back to what made the first Star Wars good, and yet it doesn't have any of the Force. Well, it does use the Force, actually. Force in unexpected places. Mystery, kind of this, like, junky old galaxy on the outskirts. What made Mos Eisley Cantina interesting? What made Boba Fett interesting? Those outskirts. What they tried to do with Solo, which kind of worked. The parts that worked in Solo. It feeling like this kind of sci-fi awesome show you'd see in the 80s or something that was inspired by Star Wars. They jetpack. Jetpack. One word, gentlemen. Jetpack. Why are we putting in a jetpack in it? For the money. Creepy cat. Creepy crazy cat. Hello. Jetpack. Yeah, the jetpack. That was the cheesiest part about Boba Fett. Because he looked like the Rocketeer. In a world where Star Destroyers can fly, and TIE Fighters, and a Death Star, and Boba Fett's got a jetpack that shoots flames out to launch him up into the air, like the Rocketeer. That was definitely George Lucas. Yeah, well, it was based on the old serials, of course, from the 50s, and I really wanted Boba Fett to feel like a B-movie character, from the 50s and that sort of thing, and something. And then the studios, they said, no, we don't like any of that, and that's never going to work. And I made it work, and it's very popular, of course. Of course, I never wanted to see him again, but everybody kept liking him. But I thought, no, it's over. I don't want to do that. Although he did make an entire movie, Attack of the Clones, based on that. One of those one-word moments some guys really pushing in the meetings. Jetpack. We need him to have a jetpack, of course. Can't he just fly what exactly is powering X-Wings and Y-Wings and TIE Fighters? Lots of little jetpacks, of course. It takes a lot of jetpacks to... The Death Star is... My wonderful Death Star is powered by 1 billion jetpacks. And can blow up a planet. Yeah. So The Mandalorian. It was great. There was 2 episodes I didn't like, and you could tell that they blew so much of the budget on everything else around it. The Village episode I thought was pretty lame. Felt like a kind of a cheesy episode of Hercules from the 90s, or Xena. And then there was another episode where they really had no money, and they go back to Mos Eisley, and there's nobody there, and he's with this... It's only basically him and this other character who's just awful, and turns out to be a real jerk in real life, the actor. And, so anyways, the first season was great, other than those 2 episodes. So I think that as long as they can just focus on what worked, what's his name, Jan Farva, have him on board, I'm pretty excited for the next season. I might just wait until more episodes are out, subscribe for a month of Disney Plus, and watch them all. I wonder if they must know. I mean, that's the reason why they don't put them all out at once, because they want people to stay subscribed. So they want all the Star Wars nerds to subscribe, and they're going to put the episodes out once a week, so they're going to get 2 months out of people. But I'm probably just going to wait. Nope, I'm probably not going to wait, because I'm probably going to start reviewing it. It'll be very cool. And putting some episodes up here. My impression of an AT-AT Walker? That's it. Very cool. Yeah, so we can't, I don't think I could do game streaming anymore. I can record games and put them up, but it's going to be more of these kind of talk show stuff. So any topics you guys would like to see on here, things like evergreen stuff is great. We can do the news. We'll do all the news. He's a big C3 by doing a dog impression. Oh yeah, they really personified it quite a bit. And then in the new ones, they have red eyes and roar and stuff. It's too much. It's too much. You can't go over that line. I think I'm going to be doing some reviews of Star Wars Rebels, because I've been watching that. It's actually pretty good. The AT getting snagged by the A-Wing road trap. Well, they're walking like this, and then all of a sudden they go. And then the land speeder comes in. One shot in the back of the neck. Whole thing blows up. Why didn't you guys do that before? Couldn't get high enough. They're just land speed. They're modified land speeders. Robots roar? Yeah, they do in Star Wars. The robots roar. Big soup. Yeah, are there any other... what kind of stuff could we be talking about on here? I guess, like, talking about different, like, years in gaming would be fun. Different consoles. I gave my old piddly patooby. Come on, Darth Vader. That's good on you, you know. Come on. Elden Ring might be delayed till 2022. Really? Why? You know what I didn't realize about Cyberpunk 2077 is that I didn't realize that was actually announced like and that was announced before Witcher 3 came out? No. But I mean, okay, I don't think the development really started until after The Witcher 3 was out. So Witcher 3 was released when? 2015. Okay, it was announced in 2012, but The Witcher 3 didn't come out until 2015. So, I mean, do you think like a team like that is going to be... They're probably doing some pre-production and stuff for Cyberpunk, but... Yeah, it's going to come out of actual development time. 5 years or something. It's going to be amazing. Now is a good time to buy Cyberpunk stock, or CD Projekt Red stock, because their stocks dropped like 25%. 25%. Prince, I like that idea. Watch a piece of media and have a discussion. I just read the first chapter of Neuromancer. I was waiting on my Kindle and then they screwed me over on that. Then I was trying to find a good audio version of it. The main release audiobook for Neuromancer is awful. The guy's voice is terrible. You can tell that he just gets by in having a deep voice and doing character voices. He has so much noise gate on there, you can't even hear the word. You know, the opening line is something like, the sky looked like a dead television. No, the sky was like television tuned to a dead channel. His noise gate is so terrible. It sounds like it goes, the sky was like a television tuned to a dead channel. You can't even hear the bloody 2. Everspace 2 delayed to avoid Clash of Cyberpunk. Yeah. It's gonna be huge. All these wankers that are like, oh, I'm not supporting them. They made me wait for a good game. Why don't you go fucking make a game? You little whiny bitch. Just be happy when it comes out. It's not like Star Citizen. Anything under 10 years, fine. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Jawweed, how you doing? Final Fantasy VII Remake Definitive Edition. Okay, this music is freaking me out. Skyscrapers. No, disaster. This is from SimCity, by the way. Clean build of health. Excellent. Sir, Jawweed. Jawweed. A Final Fantasy VII Remake Definitive Edition. Well, yeah, I would think so, for sure. They're going to find a way to resell that. So it's a rumor that the Final Fantasy VII Remake Definitive Edition would come to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. They're going... It's definitely going to have a title like Definitive Edition. And you're going to have to add something. Because... Yeah, like Prince is saying, you can't really call it a remaster, but it could look better. It could have improved frame rates, higher resolutions. Welcome from Afghanistan. What do you guys speak there? Arabic? Salam alaikum. Right. But now that you have so much backwards compatibility, I mean, the PC Master Race is like, yeah, we've had backwards compatibility forever. Unless the game's really old, then we have to run it in Windows compatibility mode, and we have to reinstall old drivers, and we have to right-click it, and do a bunch of crap. Yeah, then it's a problem. But if it's a game from the last 10 years, like Matt's golden rule of development time, then it's fine. So, yeah, they have to have something, because you could just take your... Like, I actually technically still own Final Fantasy VII Remake, because I bought it digitally like a fool! Could have resold that for some good money. And so I could play that on the PS5. But if you... Now, they have to have a reason now. They have to add extras. So they're probably going to be, well, at least for this little bit, holding things. No, that doesn't make any sense. They're not going to be holding anything back from PS4 to put it on PS5 because it's the PS4 games are basically done now, right? So yeah, there's going to be a lot of that. If Cyberpunk comes out bad, you think the development team is smoked? I don't know. All right, let's look at the possible scenarios for Cyberpunk. It comes out and the frame rate is awful. Like Link's Awakening on the Nintendo Switch. They were too ambitious and they couldn't get the frame rate. They were too ambitious and all of these systems don't actually work well together. More likely, if you look at what they did with The Witcher is big and vast, has a ton of people, a ton of things to look at. But it's very, very, very shallow, right? It's sort of like an ocean of breadth and width, but a depth of a puddle. So I think Cyberpunk's going to be like that. I think that there's going to be a lot of great things to look at and not really a lot to interact with. Horky, you're thinking people have left the team from burnout and CD Projekt Red chews up their staff? Yikes. Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like CD Projekt Red, they have this mentality of, this is Poland. It's probably not a great economy. I don't know a lot about Polish economy, but I'm assuming it's not a great economy there. You're lucky to work here and get what you get, and a lot of people would love to work for our team. We have one of the most popular games in the world, popular game series now in the world. Keanu Reeves likes our next game. We're hyped up, and it needs to be good. And already, when you look at what they were doing with The Witcher, it felt like this is so far beyond what a regular studio would do, and you guys are sort of killing yourself. And most game studios are killing themselves to get any game out anyway. Like, the whole idea that crunch in the gaming industry is perfectly acceptable is really disgusting. But, see, that's the thing. On the one hand, you can say, game crunch is disgusting, you shouldn't treat people like that. And on the other hand, you got people on Reddit, they're like, oh, they delayed the game. I hate them. I'm not going to support them. But the problem is on both sides. It's the unrealistically, there's one thing studios want, and it's disgusting. We want you to work 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, until the game is out, and until the first patch is out, and until we get our feet wet with this DLC. And then we're going to fire you. That's nice. But, like I said before in the other video I was talking about, with CD Projekt Red, they made the mistake of talking about release dates. Just don't talk about release dates. Just work on it. And when you're close to having it done, tell people and get them really excited. Don't get them excited years and years out, because that hype turns into, holy crap, Smurf is here. Welcome back, Smurf. That early initial hype just turns into bitterness. That's all it does. It's like life. People complain about the game being delayed, don't even know about the crunch issue. I think they do. Half of them do. The other half are dummies. But like, I don't think they're totally in the wrong to complain that the game has been delayed, say, 3 or 4 times and was announced in 2012. So CD Projekt Red are just, I guess it's from a marketing standpoint of, we need to announce things. Smurf knows about marketing. He's a marketing genius. He worked for Spotify. I mean, you have the name out there, the Cyberpunk name. It's been out there for a long time, but it can go sour, right? like we've seen with Star Citizen, where Star Citizen becomes a joke. And actually, Cyberpunk is starting to become a bit of a joke. But it's going to be out this year, probably. If it gets delayed, the problem is that if they really need to delay it a little more than the 21 days they gave themselves, that would be... This has already felt like kind of the last straw for people in terms of their image of it. I think they're all going to buy it. It's going to sell big time. But if it gets pushed back again, they're going to have to say something like, we're just going to put it on when it's done. We're sorry. But I can't believe how many people take time off work dedicated to a game's release. The game's coming out. I'm going to take 3 days off work. Is the time you have when you're not working not enough to play the game? No. Well, I don't know. Maybe they have kids. What is the topic? Oh, many topics, buddy. Right now it's Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, I could say, I feel like they're too scared to put it back. The amount that letter they had to write, and how sorry and how much guilt was in that letter to delay a game by 21 days is, I was surprised at that because I haven't followed the whole saga. I didn't even know that it was announced in 2012. I heard about it after The Witcher 3 came out and was excited. And thought, you guys just take your time. There's a million other games to play, but yeah, true what you're saying. Horky is blazing through it in one chunk. I mean, it's just kind of gone in a blur. You know, you want to enjoy it. When I got Breath of the Wild and was reviewing it, I did not want to blaze through it at all. I wanted to just take my time because I could tell how special the experience was, how much I was enjoying it. You know, in a way I hadn't enjoyed games in a long time. So, yeah, but it does come down to the fans are demanding. CD Projekt Red is very demanding of their team. And stop making promises, because gamers are they can be fickle in their attitude, but in the end they're still going to buy it. So, buy some stock now in CD Projekt Red. Their stock tanked because of the uncertainty, but it's going to come out and they are going to buy the shit out of it. COVID-19 will not affect the gaming industry, Smurfy? Can you make a game? Yeah, just get RPG Maker or Game Maker. Make a game. Make a real simple game. See if you like it. Thoughts on the PS5, Smurfy boy? It's weird how big it is. Hopefully it can be in, like, where I have my PS4, hopefully there's room for it in there. If it's not going to fit in people's, the music is ominous. Okay, this music is pissing me off. Okay, alright. Chill music that's not sappy is what I want. I want chill video game music that's not sappy. You think Xbox is doomed? I don't think so. I think Xbox is going to be okay. Yeah, it does have a Mirror's Edge feel too, doesn't it? It really, really does. Good morning, Solace. What were we talking about? PS5? Some people like to binge games like a TV show where they watch the entire season in a day. I don't want to do that. I think this will be the first time that I get a PS5. Or with the PS5, it might be the first time I get a console at launch. If I can. If I can, I will. I feel like if I don't buy it right away, you might as well wait till the first price drop, which is probably in what, 2 years? Year and a half, 2 years? We're just lucky they don't put out new consoles every year like phones. Get the GameCube? Oh, the GameCube is fun. It's so funny how the GameCube was thought of as this childish toy. It's purple, it's got a handle. Yeah, it also has a really good version of Resident Evil 4. And good Star Wars games. A Singaporean singer was the first in Asia to get a PS5. That's the buzz going on. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of PS5 on unboxing and stuff. Chris chimes in with that. Oh yeah, they will. They're looking at it. This is... I think what we're seeing now, once the PS4 Pro hit, and then the Xbox One X, we're seeing probably the next step towards game consoles being released like phones, where they can put them out once a year and it's got a big upgrade. It'd be easier. They wouldn't have to do so many innovations every... They wouldn't have to do so much innovation every, 5, 6, 7 years, where every time a console comes out now, it has to have kind of a hook, right? If they just came out once a year, and then what if game consoles were just like PCs, where they came out once a year, and they would have a slight upgrade in graphics cards, and they would be better. But then you'd be stuck with, I've got a 4-year-old PlayStation. And I play in medium settings instead of ultra settings. Oh my god, I'm not wearing a mask. This is going to trend. I'm going to give you COVID in the ear. Aren't consoles really terrible at making money in the first year? They are. Yeah, they are. I think they either lose money on them or they try to break even. Because they have to put in a lot of tech in a small package, where a PC can just be big. And that's we're seeing Sony's like, just make it big. And then have some flaps coming out of it. And Microsoft, what is their aesthetic? A big block? That's their aesthetic. The 360, actually, the PS5 looks more like a 360. Looks like the evolution of that. Their aesthetic now is nothing. Square. Which is fine by me. I don't really look at it. I mean, I look at my PS4 Pro. It looks okay. I think the PS3 Slim looks better. Unfortunately, I have a horrible Star Wars themed, and I love Star Wars. I have a Star Wars themed PS4 Pro. It has these like ugly logos on it, and just the most generic looking Star Wars written on it. It's so stupid. The black Xbox 360, one of the best looking consoles ever. Oh yeah, that was really nice. Trump will boost commercial gaming? Trump will probably affect importing, and he'll just continue to affect importing and local production. So I think he'll be worse because so many games come from outside the US, and manufacturing is from outside the US. So I think he'll be worse for it. I think. His deceased brother was involved in the company that owned Bethesda. Well, that's when they started to fall. Yeah, the PS4 is very subtle. It's just sort of like a rectangle, but with a bit of style. It's got, pretty nice. And then the Pro, they just added one more flap. It's one flap better. Microsoft actually made the Xbox Series X refrigerator in response to the memes. Yeah. See, Microsoft has become really fun. They've done, which I feel... In a way, I'm thinking like, are they just like everything a corporation does is usually pretty calculated? So for them to show a bunch of goodwill with backwards compatibility and Games Pass and free upscaling, it's probably them going, oh, it says here, if we invest as much money and have people think that we like them, we'll ultimately get more money from them and we'll increase customer brand loyal retention by 45%. Oh, well, let's do it. That's why they're doing it, right? So I think but it is, Microsoft is fun. It's fun the way that they embrace a meme and then they build a fridge, or they embrace a meme about that orc character in Halo, the Halo trailer that nobody liked. Well, nobody liked. The people on social media made fun of. So, and actually, if you look at Xbox's social media, their Twitter is actually funny, and they are not afraid to just. Their Twitter doesn't feel like it's managed by a lot of people, or if it is managed by a lot of people, and this is all really just like a cold, cynical corporate way of making me like them, they're doing a really good job of it. So. Yeah, they have to. Well, they're banking on PR. They realized that their PR sucked. They had to completely change their image and branding after the first couple of years of the Xbox One. Netflix, you believe, did something similar a while back by canceling the subscriptions accounts that had been unused for a long period of time. Oh, really? Right, and then like just not taking the money from them? Yeah, and then they get a nice story out of it, right? I mean, you think about how much advertising costs, and if you can do something that gives you a attention the same way that advertising would, and it's positive, that's really what it's all about, right? Yeah, I like the way the PS5 looks. I'm going to be happy to get one on my little table. And also to be able to play all the PS4 games. That's actually probably the main reason why I'm really happy to just sell my PS4, hop over to the PS5. Whereas if the PS5 did not have backwards compatibility, if the PS5 did not have back compat, two things would happen for me. One, I would maybe consider getting an Xbox instead. Because I think I'm getting more value out of the Xbox. Think of this bigger library, all these games I haven't played. There's so many cheap games I could play that would be upscaled. I'm a thrifty gamer, and a new Xbox that I could play Morrowind on. It feels like a PC. You could play Morrowind on it. You could play Knights of the Old Republic and not have to worry about like GOG or, like compatibility modes and Steam and all this crap. That's huge. I mean, I could do the same on an Xbox 360, of course, for like $50, but it would make me think twice. And also, I would think, well, I might as well play every single game I still have on my PS4. Think of all the games you have on your PS4 that you haven't even played. All the PS Plus. There's like over 100 PS Plus games I have. I would maybe think, well, I'll get a PS5 when there's a price reduction, and I'm going to play these games on PS4. But now that I know I can bring those forward, now I feel pretty good about just selling the PS4, whatever, grab a PS5, and just kind of continuing on my day. So, I feel like when browsing Netflix is exhausting. I have to. I don't browse those places. I make a list of what I want to watch. I listen to like movie podcasts and stuff, and find different recommendations, and then I find where they are, and then watch them off that list. Going through Netflix is like, well, because first off, they're always promoting their stuff, and they're trying to put out a lot of stuff, and some of it is pretty amazing. I watched Grand Army. That was really good. Good teen drama that I really recommend. And I don't know, my brother's watching this one about a woman who plays chess. He says it's pretty good. But then but there's also all this other crap that's going to be shoved into your face, right? One Lich. People share stories, not advertisements. Exactly. We have a phone company here that acts like they are promoting mental health awareness. And they say hashtag their company name, Let's Talk. And they say, anyone who uses the hashtag, we're going to donate like a penny or 10 cents or something to mental health awareness. So now everyone is going, hashtag this company, and they're putting it on like the fucking profile pictures. They have the company's name on their face. Mental health awareness. The amount of money they're paying to get this positive advertising compared to what they would have to pay to get that amount of exposure is such a ripoff. It's so calculated in the way that they're trying to come off as philanthropists. It's pathetic, and I hate it. And Smurf quit his job at Spotify. Down with Spotify! How did you find them as employers? You didn't get a PS4, so the PS5 is going to be nice. Yeah, absolutely. Because you have a whole other... You have like two generations of games you can play, right? I guess you're not... Is Sony going to have any of that upscaling? They gotta have some of that upscaling, baby. You gotta have what Microsoft is bringing. That's just so sad. That would be so satisfying to just play something that is. I mean, but for them, they're thinking, well, that's a free remaster. We don't want to give that away. So I don't know. I'm with you, Horky. I just, really do. I put on God of War and I think this is impressive. It's kind of fun, but I don't really want to keep playing this. And then I played. Then you play an indie title and that's focused on gameplay, or even like the Star Wars Squadrons. I had way more fun playing that than God of War. And it looks nowhere near as impressive. It's not even as impressive as TIE Fighter from like 1993. But I just feel like the indie games in general are asking you to do more. They're more challenging, not just in difficulty, but in... Like, here's a puzzle, find it out. Like, Ink was talking about when he played God of War, and he got into a situation where all of a sudden, like, this poison cloud comes in, and he's like, oh, this is really suspenseful. How am I going to get it out? And that's really fun. Now, all of a sudden, you have a time limit. How are you going to get out? And even if it was a simple solution, having that pressure of time could make it really exciting. But then before you even have the chance to figure it out, prompt on the screen, throw your axe over there. Ooh. Like, why is Goofy telling me this from Kingdom Hearts? So, I mean, there's still AAA games I love. Metal Gear Solid 5. Breath of the Wild, I guess, is a AAA game for Nintendo standards. More than I'm able to name right now. The Last of Us. Goofy war. But just in general, what they do with the mainstream AAA games, where they're afraid to challenge people because they think people are just going to be bored. That's a problem. Jakul. Yeah, it's a gay-friendly gamer stream, buddy. Welcome. Having enough time, you realize they're charging an extra $100 in North America for the PS5 with a disc drive. I imagine GameStop was pretty happy to see that. Hey? Well, even if I was, what does it matter? What are you up to, Jekyll? Are you going around looking for people to talk to? Oh yeah, they want it to be digital. It's cheaper for them. And digital makes way more sense for them because every time somebody buys a used game, they're not seeing any of that money. They only get one sale. And it gets sold around in a secondary market, right? Stella. Where digital... I hate buying games digital. I bought Final Fantasy VII Remake digital. I bought Red Dead Redemption 2 digital. That's like $180 I've spent on two games I don't really like all that much. And I'm stuck with them forever. They're a part of me. Oh, did you see that Amazon has put in their small print that when you buy a game on when you buy a movie digitally on Amazon Prime, you don't actually own that forever. You own it temporarily. And they go, oh, it's in our small print, and just because you don't read it is not our fault. At any point, they reserve the right to take away the license if they want to move that into some other realm. Isn't that great? Talk about a way to drive up like Blu-ray sales, or is there going to be a format of media, video media, that is like vinyl records, where vinyl records are still popular, and there doesn't seem to be anything better. Like, would laserdiscs, I would assume, don't have as much data or quality as a Blu-ray. So will Blu-rays be around for a long time? I don't know. But now I'm more likely to buy something physical that I like, that I would want to rewatch, because sometimes it can be really hard to find something. Like, okay, Netflix grabbed the Norm Macdonald show off of YouTube, put it on Netflix. They gave him one season and then didn't renew it. So now there's only 3 episodes of his first season YouTube show that was available for free before, but now Netflix owns the rights to it. So if I want to go back to that stuff, I have to find audio rips of it, or go to like Daily Motion, or, like Archive or something. So now for movies, if there was some like TV series that I would like to go back to, or a movie, and you don't want to have to be subscribed to everything, then what are you going to do, right? So I would maybe be likely to buy it if it was cheap. It seemed like before that stuff was more cost prohibitive. If you wanted to buy, like, say a show came out and it was 8 seasons long, if each season is going to be $30 or something, that's pretty pricey, right? So I guess but is it only cost effective? Is it only cheap if it's not selling well? Usually that's, in capitalism, when something is very, very cheap, it's because the business model didn't work and they're trying to clear them all out. iTunes used to do the same thing? Huh. Yeah, digital's huge. Digital is obviously like... And I love it for cheaper things. It's more that when... I just find like buying a big brand new AAA game, I would much rather do it physically, because I can pay $90 and then I can give it back and get sometimes $50 back from EB Games, because they're going to resell it. I don't know how they make their money off that, but for them, they're highly incentivized by their parent company to sell used games. I've heard stories of people being lied to, and them trying to sell them a used copy and saying that the new ones were all sold out, and they weren't. But it's a little different with Blu-ray compared to vinyl, because I don't think Blu-ray doesn't have the appeal of vinyl where it's going to last forever. It could easily be replaced by the next. I don't know. What else would there be? Is there going to be an advancement on Blu-ray? I don't know. Digital is great for multiplayer games. I know I'm going to keep going back to. I love having Splatoon 2 digitally. I can hop into it. I don't have to go find... I don't have to find the disc or something for it. And I'm going to keep it for a long time. And I'm going to keep going back to it. Fortnite or something. Rainbow Six. That kind of crap. Sometimes... like if you just want to hop into a game, if it says, oh, please insert disc, and you got to go look for it, you might just go like, well, whatever's on my hard drive, or whatever disc is in there, I might play. Yeah, it's going to be crystals. Sold by Light Warriors. Final Fantasy was right all along. So, I can't remember what I started talking about in this part. Amazon. I mean, big news. Amazon has found a way to be evil. Amazon is basically... They're a pretty good example of a terrifying thing with our society, where it's all about exploitation. Things on Amazon are very convenient, and they're only convenient because people are being exploited. The workers are being exploited. They don't have employee benefits. They, for the most part, like the lower level ones, the grunt work of putting everything together. They bid for shifts, like they're trying to buy tickets on Ticketmaster, and your food being delivered, Uber, all this stuff. This is all done where somebody is inconveniencing themselves, perhaps temporarily, but it's not a sustainable way of living. This isn't like the 50s and 60s where somebody could have a job, the family has a car, and they live happily ever after in a house. So, we're at this point now where we're going to convenience ourselves into peasantry again, going to be peasants again. And as much as I'll speak out about Amazon and what they're doing, I keep buying stuff off Amazon because I can get cheap Bluetooth headphones, and I have a huge selection. And if I don't like them, I can return them. I wrote a 3-star review for Bluetooth headphones that work semi-well, and they sent me an email almost immediately. Anchor, the guys that make the power batteries. And they said, hey, we noticed you had a problem with sound and or fit. We'll send you a replacement that will be better fitting and better sounding. Just give us your address. I don't even know what they're going to send me. I haven't even asked for anything. And all the reviews of the Anchor stuff is always like, starts off 2 stars, and then they go, well, I had some problems, but wow, I love Anchor. They're so great. They sent me new ones. 95% of Solace's games were digital. Not really. Prince, you think there's not a point to having a physical version of an online game too, since once the servers are down, it's gone. That's very true. And yeah, that's what it's about, Horky, is like a live service game having a plan for the death. Why don't they let people run their own servers? When I think of most online games, I don't like playing online games because everybody is so good that you play that it's not that fun. Whereas if I was just playing with my friends, that could be a lot more fun. If I could play, and I think you can do this now, but the last time I tried, you couldn't. Fortnite with just you guys. If I could get 5 to 20 to 30 of your friends and you can play Fortnite, that'd be great, and not against everybody else. Oh yeah, installing 5 discs of games on PC? Yeah, that was crazy. That seemed to die out, in like Xbox 360 when they were having the double discs? Yeah, they're going to send me a battery that'll blow up my face. Battery acid. Yeah, well, it's like a slow process to keep shifting, but that's why you need to have competition, right? You need to have consoles with Microsoft, Sony. There's only really 2 of those standard consoles. Nintendo's doing their own thing, but still overlapping in some ways, which is pretty smart. And then now you've got this new contender of streaming cloud gaming, which is pretty interesting, that you can now have, you don't have to build a PC, you don't have to keep up with the best PCs, you just pay a subscription and you get the best possible PC graphics. So if you don't have a use for having a really powerful PC, like you're not also a photographer, or you're not also a photographer, or you're not also I don't know, like a video editor or something that would need a computer for rendering, you can just have a good internet connection and you can play in your bloody Android phone, or you can play like a Chromebook or something. That's crazy. The thing I wonder about its sustainability, though, is that, or its viability to customers, is that you have to appeal to a customer on several different levels. So the people that would stream a game over the cloud, it means that they're not going to have a really powerful PC, and they would think that this is going to be better. But people that don't have a powerful PC are probably not going to know about streaming gaming and cloud computing. So you're kind of preaching to the wrong crowd. So the people that would know a lot about, that are going to be even aware of it, are probably going to have a pretty good computer or a console of some kind. I'm sure there's going to be, I don't know, maybe it's going to be like take off really big in, say, like India, China, and these different markets where people have great internet connection, but it's just too cost prohibitive to have a brand new graphics card. So actually, I could see that being huge. Definitely in those, what would you call those, like second world markets or something, or like half a first world or whatever. So it's probably pretty expensive to keep up with like the highest end computer, and mobile gaming is already so huge in Asian markets. Just massive, right? That once you just turn that Now you're playing your Raid Shadow Legends on your mobile, but now you can also, I want to play Red Dead Redemption 2 with amazing settings. And I'm going to stream that in. And I just have to pay a subscription. What's a subscription? $10, $15 a month? $150 a year? $100 a year? Plus the games? So you're maybe paying $100 a year plus the games, as opposed to buying, say, a console that you'll keep for five years longer, 5 to 7 years, and is maybe $500-$600. So now you're paying, like, say, what's a console? $100 a year over 5 years, or subscribing to like a GeForce Now and paying $100 a year. Kind of the same. And if you're really smart with building computers, you could probably pay about $100 a year, give or take. And then some people are paying way more. Because the people that are into building computers, high-end ones, aren't, I would say they're generally more likely to buy a very expensive one. GeForce, you own the game, right? Yeah, you buy the game. Does GeForce let you... Because there's different ways you can do it. Inc. has tried a lot of them. So there's ones where you subscribe to their service and they provide the games and the platform. And then there's ones where you're using your Steam library and you're just subscribing to GeForce. I'm going to try it, actually. I think it's going to be cool. Because then instead of me having to hook up my other computer and then record it on this computer, I could just stream it here and not even have... Because I don't even really have a video. I have like the most basic video card in here, but I have a good processor. And I could stream it here and record the gameplay. So, pretty exciting. Pretty exciting stuff. Interesting thought is, does streaming the game work better for us when you play in cloud servers? As opposed to what? When you play in a cloud server. Oh. Does streaming the game work better for us when you... Oh. I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of almost over the idea of streaming games because it's always so disappointing. Seems like Saturday I can stream. That's kind of about it. I mean, I'll talk to them again, but it just seems like it's always a problem. And it's such a bummer to be really excited to play and then have drops, you know, and be so distracted by that and taken out of it. Whereas, like, I haven't had one drop because I'm streaming at, I think I put in 900 kilobits per second for this. So this I could do. And I haven't been distracted by the drops or anything. It's so fun to just enjoy. Just do another one of these gay gaming streams like that guy said. If you watch direct from the game being streamed from a cloud server with reliable internet. If we just watch direct from the game being streamed from a cloud server with reliable internet. Oh, like you can watch your own version of the game? Like, I'm streaming the game to my computer, and the game's being played in a cloud server. I'm just receiving a video feed. Yeah, so could you receive your own video feed from it? Like, you give somebody a key. Watch it here. Right. That'd be cool. The gay gaming stream. Yeah. Gaming. Or just built into Restream. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it seems like more and more games take that into account, like streaming mode and all those different ideas. Like Jackbox seemed to be one of the first people to do it. So I don't know. Right now, I gotta finish up Squadrons, the final mission. I think I'll keep poking away at Link's Awakening. Maybe I'll play some God of War. Finish that off. Although I'm not really in as much of a rush now with the backwards compatibility. And there's so many games I would like to play too. That I have on my Switch. I feel like if you look at your consoles as a ticking time bomb of when they're not relevant anymore, I feel like now it's such a relief to know that everything I've invested into the PS4 will carry over. So I'm fine. That's great. If only they could bring the PS1 games that I bought for PS3, I would give them a big old slow clap. And how hard could that be? Really? How hard could that be? All those games I paid $10 for. You know, I want to play friggin' Dino Crisis. Isn't that good, Solace? We should just call ourselves the Gay Gaming Podcast. Because then what are those dummies gonna come in and say? Oh, what are you, gay? Yeah, it's a Gay Gaming Podcast. Why not? Who cares? I guess the only thing would be is if gay people would find it offensive, but I don't know. I have Prince to ask, as long as Prince doesn't mind being a spokesman for an entire subset of people. Just pirate them and emulate them? Yeah. Except, and the reason I like just emulating them is that you can speed up, because PS1 games are fun to go back to, but being able to save anywhere and speed up is really nice. But there's problems like FMV sometimes won't play properly in an emulator. So, because I started emulating Final Fantasy VIII one time and or Final Fantasy IX, one of them. I got several hours in and then I realized, oh, there's like glitches and you could lose your data. So big, long RPGs, I'm like, say, Final Fantasy VIII and IX, I'm really glad that I have a Switch version of them. Because they look a little better. And you can speed up and you can save state. I think. Sanctioned by the Prince. Oh, man. Those people are so funny. It's just a gay gaming stream. I mean, one, that's not an insult. And then two, I don't know, maybe that person had their own gaming stream and nobody came to it, or they're too scared to do their own, so they don't want to see anyone else do it. There are a lot of gaming streams. But yeah, people like to get together and talk about the games, you know? I enjoyed this. I don't know how often we can do it before we run out of things to not talk about. And, poor misguided fools. He didn't have anything to say after that. He just left. What a hetero move. Huh. Yeah, well, that was pretty fun. There you're out, Harky. So I guess we'll be back on, I guess I'll be back on Wednesday with gaming music. We're doing, what, Super Nintendo, I think? And then we'll do some more gaming talk shows. If you want to... If you want to get involved... If you want to get involved in any of the, like, future talking about episodes, stuff we'll be talking about. Mandalorian. Neuromancer. The book. I'm going to finish Squadrons. So I'll be talking about that. Star Wars Squadrons, that is. What else? I'll probably finish God of War, I guess. If I have to. They stopped supporting the Vita on the online PSN website. You can only buy Vita games from the Vita itself. And a bunch of games got delisted. I guess it kind of sucks. It sucks because there's not going to be a new Vita, right? So, which I would have liked a Vita 2. That was, if you had a Vita 2, that was really built from the ground up to support streaming your PS5 connection to your Vita, that'd be friggin' awesome. That would be smart. Then you would have basically a portable, that would be your Switch. I would love a Vita 2. And on a Vita 2, this is what I would want. Slightly bigger screen, 2 shoulder buttons, and have it built from the ground up to support streaming whatever your PS5 is doing. Because the Vita itself was pretty good at remote play for the PS4, but if you did the Vita 2 specifically to be a partner to the PS5, which I think Sony would do, because you're not giving people anything for free. They still have to buy a PS5, and they still have to, because the game is running on the PS5, and they still have to buy PS5 games. This is just another way to play them, and also buy another way to play them. And I think people would love that. They could like hotspot it off their phone or something, or play on Wi-Fi. But then you have to come up with a whole bunch of games, and that's the thing where now you're like splintering your development, which I mean Nintendo did for a long time, making 3DS games and DS games and Game Boy. And those handheld consoles were some of the best selling of all time. They didn't really have any competition, so that's why. The PSP sold really well because it was easily jailbroken, whereas the Vita didn't sell as well. They sold more Vita games and less PSP games. People can already stream games directly from their consoles to their phones and play them with their controllers. Yes, you'd have to make it better. You'd have to make... Yeah. So do you want to carry a controller around and stream it to your phone? Or do you want to have the Vita be as good as a controller and smaller and do some other stuff and have its own games? I guess it's probably for them it's too much of a... They're like, we got to make all these studios. We got to make little tiny versions of these games. But how about this? What if it could play? Because the cool thing about the PSP and the Vita were that you could play PS1 games really easily. So what if you could do all the PS2 ports were on there, and PS3 games? Could you have it so that PS3 games were on there too? Because PS3 is not going to be brought forward to. It wasn't brought forward to PS4, other than paying for remasters and ports, or PS5. So that could be the bridge, right? You could have all the PS3 stuff that people want to play. Do people really want to play that stuff? It's kind of just, all the best stuff tends to get remade and remastered anyway and ported forward. It's just more if you've already invested in it. And if you've already invested in it, Sony doesn't want to spend money to have you not spend money. Like they will put where Microsoft will put money into Games Pass to let you play all these games, and they'll give you where Microsoft will put money into backwards compatibility for free, Sony they'll put their money into PS Now, so you have another reason to pay. They want you to pay and stream it in a true PS2 gallery. That'd be cool. I mean, there's a lot of games in the PS2. Be another way to sell them. What else? Oh, yeah, a bigger screen. Really, really good controller feel. I mean, make the thing mostly a controller would be nice. But you still want it to be kind of portable. So that's always the trade-off. Do you make it sleek and small, or do you make it feel good? Better buttons. 2 shoulder buttons. I think they just seem pretty shy of it. And now the Switch is a big portable that's doing really, really well. But no, I don't see them doing it. Yeah, like a smaller gamepad with a big screen. Kind of like what they thought the... I thought the PS5 itself was maybe going to have a screen on it. The PS5 controller, but... I guess, in the end, you're right. If I can... So you're saying on my iPhone, I can hook up a PS4 controller to it and stream PS4 games to it? I guess I'll just do that. Alright, sorry Vita 2. I guess you're not going to be around. Alright, I'm out of here, but I'll be back on Wednesday with the music show. I'm going to be putting up some more videos of finishing off Star Wars Squadrons. And anytime I finish a game, I'll be putting up the final episode of it. Maybe some beginning first episodes. Maybe some random God of War stuff here and there, just to give you an update on how I'm doing with those games. But thanks, guys, for joining. We'll be doing a lot more of these talk show types. If you want to get in on when we talk about Mandalorian or Neuromancer or Star Wars Squadrons, play or watch those things now. Bye, bye, bye.